Hello everybody, how are we doing? We are going to do 11:26 to 29 today. Homework is 31 to 37, skip 36. Okay, number 26 says, with your team, review your responses for homework problem 11:21. Verify that everyone obtained the same answer and be prepared to justify your process for adding the fractions. Okay. So we have 3 different problems from your homework from the previous lesson. Okay, here's the first one. Okay, so when you are adding and subtracting fractions, you want to get a common denominator. We didn't have to worry about that in the last lesson because that was multiplying and dividing. And you add or subtract across the top and the bottom stays the same. So in this case, I have 8 plus -3, which is 5, and then the denominator stays the same. So notice this did not become 22, this did not cancel, bottom stays the same. Okay, next one, x over 6 plus 2 over 6, okay. Add or subtract along the top. Bottom stays the same. Okay, last one, and this is the one that does not have a common denominator, so we need to make sure that we review this process. Okay, I have 3 and 5, hopefully everyone out there is like 15, 15. Okay, so the least common denominator is 15. I'm going to mark that off to the side. And so what do I need to multiply to make this 3 into a 15? I need to multiply by a giant one made of 5 over 5. Remember, you have to do the top and the bottom because you have to multiply by 1 in order to keep the value the same. Okay, what does this side need? We have 5, we need 15, so we need a 3 over 3. This is kind of nice to notice that for most fractions, even if you don't have the least common denominator, it will work to multiply this side by that denominator and this side by that denominator. You'll just have to reduce in the end. Okay, so 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so now we're adding. 5 plus 6 is 11. Denominator stays the same. And that will help us out a lot with number 27 and 28. Okay, 27 is a little bit lengthy. And it's got all common denominators, so it looks bad, but it's really not as bad as it looks. Okay, so I have 2x over 2x squared plus x minus 21 plus 7 over 2x squared plus x minus 21. Okay, so first thing I want you guys to notice is that this is a common denominator already. You have the same thing in this denominator as you do here. Even though it has x's in it, x is going to be some number. So once I plug it in, I would have the same number here and the same number here. So it follows the same rules as the fractions up here where we have a common denominator. You add across the top and the bottom stays the same. Okay, now a lot of the times you would be done at this point, but there's actually simplification that can happen here. So do you notice at the bottom is a trinomial, which is just screaming diamond and box. And what we're going to do is do diamond and box to see if one of the factors is indeed 2x plus 7 and can be crossed out. Okay. Oh look, our suspicions were correct. One of the factors is indeed 2x plus 7, so we did need to keep going for simplification purposes. 2x plus 7 over x minus 3. Okay, now remember, this can be crossed out, however, it makes a giant 1, which means that you have 1 over x minus 3. Okay. Hopefully you guys are getting a good factoring review in here with these problems. 5x over x squared minus 2x minus 3 minus 15 over x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay. So, the good news is that I have common denominator. The bad news is it looks like I might be able to cross something out with the bottom after factoring, so I'm going to have to factor. Okay, the numerator is 5x minus 15. Denominator stays the same. Okay, and we need to factor both of these. Do you notice that there is a 5 in common in the top? I can do a 2 box for that, or I can do factoring, taking out the greatest common factor, which is what I did, which is faster, but feel free to do a 2 box if you like. Okay, and then for the other one, great. Okay, our suspicions were correct. They have an x minus 3 in common in the numerator and denominator, so those can be canceled. We have 5 over x plus 1. If nothing else, these problems are a little satisfying at least. So the next one I really like, it is a different type of factoring. 3x plus 9 over 8x squared minus 50 minus x plus 4 over 8x squared minus 50. Okay. One piece of good news, we have a common denominator. Bad news is this is strange to factor, so I'm sure that you'll all need a little bit of a review on that. Also, we have a detail in the top, so I'm going to get my red pen out here. Okay, what I want you to do with the top, you're going to subtract across, but this is really important. You need to put the numerator of the right fraction in parentheses, and the reason is because you're subtracting the whole thing, which means you're subtracting x and you're subtracting 4. So you can either make this minus x minus 4. I like to put that in parentheses and kind of imagine I'm distributing a negative there. And then the bottom stays the same. Okay, so we have a couple of things. We have this detail which I am going to put there, and then, okay. So let's go underneath. I have 3x minus x is 2x. Okay, so this is the spot right here. I have positive 9 minus 4, which is 5. Okay. Do you think that there's a possible suspicion that once I factor this, one of the factors will be 2x plus 5? I think for sure there's a definite possibility of that, so I need to keep going. How in the heck do I factor 8x squared minus 50? Okay, so let's do it over here. 8x squared minus 50. Okay, so first, do they have anything in common? Greatest common factor? Well, they're both even. 4 goes into 8, but 4 does not go evenly into 50, so it's 2x squared minus 20. Nope, 4x squared minus 25. Okay, now this is a difference of two squares. Notice I have a difference, perfect square, perfect square. Okay, what is the same thing that multiplies to get 4x squared? 2x. Oh man. 5 times 5 is 25, and 1 positive and 1 negative. Okay, now I cross those out, remembering this makes a giant 1. I have 1 on the top, 2x minus 5. Okay, and I think if I'm pretty here, x squared plus 5x minus 2 plus 2. X squared plus 5x minus 2 over 3x squared plus 2x minus 8 plus 2x squared minus 3x minus 6 Okay, this one's a little bit of a trick problem, but that's okay. You guys are, oh my god, it looks terrible, but just wait. Okay, x squared plus 2x squared, 3x squared, oh, you guys see it coming. 5x plus negative 3x, negative 2 minus 6. Okay, and then the bottom stays the same. Okay, same thing on the top and bottom can be canceled, and that's 1. See, you guys were all worried. Okay, now we're going to start 28. So you've had some good experience now with common denominators. Now 28 is going to be some uncommon denominators. And uncommon, not common denominators. So these are going to take a little bit of extra care. Okay, now this first one, oh, actually both of these are nice. They're both factored already in the denominator, which is great. Okay. Alright, so I need to go pretty slow here so that I don't lose people. What I want you to imagine is that 3x plus 1 is a number, and x minus 5 is a number. Okay, so on this side of the problem, I have these two numbers being multiplied together in the denominator, and in this side, I have one of the two numbers. Okay, so what I'd like to do, if I can find my sounded like Tina just then. Okay, we'll use this. This is Miss Ides' baby notebook. My baby notebook looks adorable because it's exactly like the big notebook, but little. Anyway, okay, so pretend that you have this. It doesn't even matter what the numerators are. Okay, I want you to imagine that this is kind of the situation wherein we have two numbers being multiplied on the bottom, and we have one of those numbers on the other side. Notice the 3x plus 1's match, so that's sort of my 5 in this case. Okay, the common denominator in this problem is 20, because 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, what do I need to do to get the common denominator? I need to multiply this side by a giant 1 made of 4 over 4. Notice this is now 20 and this is now 20. Okay, so going back to the algebra problem, this side already has both numbers. This side only has one of the numbers. What does it need? It needs a giant 1 made out of x minus 5 over x minus 5. Okay, so now I have x minus 5 times x over x minus 5, 3x plus 1, plus 2x squared plus 2 over x minus 5, 3x plus 1. Some of you guys out there are going to say, why did you just write that step again? That is exactly the same thing that you wrote over here. True. If I were doing this problem out, I would not have written this step again. I just want to show you very detailed because this is the first one we're doing without a common denominator. Now I want to show you that you're in the situation you were in number 27. Now you have a common denominator problem. And so you're going to add across the top and the bottom will stay the same. So I'm also going to distribute that. X squared minus 5x plus 2x squared plus 2 over, denominator stays the same, great. Okay, now I need to simplify the top. Okay, then taking a look at that, does it look to you like there's the possibility that one of the factors might be crossed out? Yes, absolutely, it looks like that to me. So I need to do diamond and box for the numerator to factor it and see if I can cancel anything out. 3x squared 2 Well, that's fun. Now you feel like you're right back in class because I have a mistake. So this is -2, and for some reason I changed it to +2 out of the blue. Okay, well, nobody's perfect. Thank goodness. For whiteout, okay. I was gonna say, pretty sure stuff would cross out. Okay. So what does that change? -2, -6x. Oh goodness, okay. So I have -6x and x. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay. Good to know that nothing's changed anyway. I'm still the same old person. Okay, so 3x plus 1's cancel, satisfying, and x minus 2 over x minus 5. Okay. Alright, now let's see if we can put that to use on B. Okay, so here's B. 9 minus 3x over x plus 3 x minus 3 plus 2x over x plus 3. Okay, so notice these are two different numbers. This side has both numbers. This side only has one of the numbers. What does it need? It needs the other number. Okay, hopefully you're starting to get this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is skip this step where I just write everything again. What I'm going to do is combine things across the top. So I'm just going to, and then distribute. Bottom stays the same. Okay, so I have 9 minus 3x plus 2x squared minus 6x. Okay, now what is that going to simplify to? 2x squared minus 9x plus 9 over x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay. Again, is there a chance that there's a factor of x plus 3 and x minus 3? Absolutely. So I need to factor the numerator to see if there's anything I can cancel out. Indeed there was. Our instincts were right on. Ooh, almost did it again. Okay, last problem, 29. Don't worry guys, this one's short. Okay,